Right now, you might think alcohol is just a modern habit. A drink people enjoy after work, at parties, or celebrations. But what if I told you? You are continuing a behavior that started before humans even became humans? A behavior older than farming. Older than cities. Even older than civilization itself. And the real story begins not in history books, but in the forest floor of ancient Africa. Millions of years ago, our ancestors were not humans as we know them today. They were primates. Living in forests. Surviving day by day. When fruit fell to the ground and stayed there for too long, something strange happened. Yeast began breaking down sugar. And the fruit started producing a chemical we now know as ethanol. That means, our ancestors were naturally exposed to small amounts of alcohol long before they ever understood what it was. And here's the interesting part. Instead of avoiding it, they were drawn to it. Because it signaled something important, right pointing finger emoji, this fruit is ripe. Energy rich. Safe to eat. Over millions of years, this preference became part of human biology. Not a choice. A built-in instinct. Alcohol doesn't just change behavior. It changes perception. It slightly relaxes the brain. Reduces fear. Increases social bonding. In early human groups, this mattered. Because survival was not about isolation. It was about connection. Sharing food. Sharing trust. Sharing safety. Even today, alcohol still activates those ancient social circuits. But back then, it wasn't about drinking for fun. It was about survival chemistry. For a long time, humans did not create alcohol. They only found it in nature. But around 13,000 years ago, something changed. In a cave in the Middle East, archaeologists discovered stone tools used to process grain. And chemical traces of fermentation. This wasn't farming yet. This wasn't civilization. These were hunter-gatherers. But they were already making alcohol. And here's the shocking part, they may have prioritized fermentation before agriculture itself. Not food first. Not bread first. But something that changed human gatherings. At ancient sites like Göbekli Tepe, massive stone structures were built long before cities existed. No farming. No writing. No permanent homes. Just organized gatherings of humans from different regions. And inside these sites, researchers found evidence of fermented grain. This suggests something powerful. Humans were not just building structures. They were building reasons to come together. And alcohol may have been one of those reasons. Because it lowers barriers. It creates bonding. It turns strangers into groups. As time moved forward, fermentation became more advanced. By early civilizations like Egypt, alcohol was no longer optional. It was essential. Workers were often paid in beer, not because it was luxury, but because it was safer than water. It also provided calories, nutrients, and social stability. One drink was acting as food, payment, medicine, social glue, all at once. So when we look at alcohol today, we think of parties, relaxation, or addiction. But from an evolutionary perspective, it is something much deeper. A signal from the past. A chemical that once guided survival decisions. A behavior that shaped social bonding long before civilization existed. So the next time you see a drink, don't just see alcohol. See a connection to something ancient. A pattern that started millions of years ago. When a primate reached for overripe fruit on the forest floor. And unknowingly, changed the future of an entire species.